So this is something that I saw coming a couple years ago. This is more internet news, which we cover from time to time. So if you're familiar with Blip, Blip's a service. It's also a website, but it tried to be a portal for videos a la YouTube. Blip is a video embed service, and there's a few out there. Giant Realm is one. I think there's Playwire, I think. But Blip was the most popular one. So what you do is you upload a video to Blip. It processes it similar to YouTube. Except you then can use the embed on websites. And why it was more popular than YouTube for a while, because before YouTube accepted monetization for just about anyone, it was very hard to monetize your videos on YouTube. Up until I'd say 2-3 years ago, it was very hard to do that for everyone.
Right.
So people like myself, I would do this. You would upload it to Blip, put on a website, and then you get pre-roll and post-roll ads, which you don't usually get on YouTube. Pre-roll and post-roll ads on a website, and you can actually make money from people watching your videos. So websites like that guy with the glasses heavily, almost solely relied on Blip from like 2000 and like 7, 8 up to the current day.
So if someone watched a video on your website, that was one way of I think you explained this to me like years ago. This was like an early way to get money.
Yeah, and I still was using Blip.
Okay.
Up till now. Because they used to have like $10 CPMs or cost per 1,000. Sometimes they had $20. There was one time where I was getting $25 CPMs.
I'm not totally aware of this, but that's really good, isn't it?
That's incredibly good.
Okay.
That's like almost highway robbery.
Gotcha.
So Blip came about through a lot of investment funding. Guys like Bain Capital invested in Blip. They went through rounds of investment funding, and they never could find a buyer. I don't think it ever turned a profit, partially because of the payouts they were giving to people. But guys like Nostalgia Critic, guys like Brad Jones, Cinema Snob, Louis Lincara, my buddy Louis, who does the Top the Fourth Wall of comic reviews, Lindsay Ellis, Nostalgia Chick, they got their income from Blip mainly, and by posting on their individual websites. So what happened was 2 years ago, Blip got bought out by Polaris, which is Maker Studios on YouTube. Then Maker got bought out by Disney.
Is Maker above or below Polaris?
Maker is above Polaris. Polaris is
the overall arching
Maker's
umbrella?
the overall arching umbrella, and Polaris is the gaming umbrella for YouTube.
Gotcha.
So Maker got bought up by Disney. And when that happened, I said, Blip is done. Why does Disney give a shit about Blip? It's just like an eyesore to them. They don't need it. Hell, people are infringing copyright on their material using Blip. And unfortunately or fortunately, whatever stance you are, the reason a lot of these people use Blip is because a lot of people on the guy with glasses do movie quote-unquote reviews that are half hour, 45 minutes long, and show tons of movie footage. And you can't get away with that on YouTube.
So Blip was the Wild West. You can get away with a lot more.
Blip was sort of blind-eyed copyright infringement and do whatever you want. So Blip just announced they're shutting down on August 20th. So people are scrambling for an alternative. What am I going to do? How am I going to make money on Blip? And like I said, there are alternatives out there. Screenwave Player on the Screenwave Network, Playwire, Giant Weld. I'm sure there's one that's going to try to come in and take its place. But for some of these guys, they're going to be screwed because they're not going to get the same sort of payouts. They can't go to YouTube and post things. They're going to get auto-flagged for copyright. Whether strikes are taken down, you can't put up a lot of times more than like 30 seconds of movie footage, and it's automatically flagged. There's just no way around it. So some of these guys are unfortunately screwed. They don't have a backup plan. Some maybe do have a backup plan. Some people, though, are maybe looking at Patreon, so they can still use a player, an alternative, or upload to like, I don't know, Metacafe or Dailymotion. Those ones are still the Wild West.
So basically return to the website model where they put their videos up there, and then they use
a
Patreon to
recoup what they would get. So there's alternatives here, but it's not unfortunate, but it's sort of the end of the era where YouTube's now again consolidated as the dominant sort of force for the online media, where these embed services tried and failed. They had to go at it. Hell, there was a time where I didn't post my videos brand new to YouTube for a time period, because Blip was just paying me out and YouTube wasn't paying anything, unfortunately. So you're plugging in finally to the laptop.
No, the browser went away for no reason.
Oh, well.
Anyways,
it's the end of the era for Blip, and hopefully these content creators sort of find their footing, get back into it. But they're not going to be. A lot of these guys aren't going to be able to, make fun of movies on YouTube. It's just not going to work.
Well, that's sadder than I thought it was going to be. I didn't really understand the whole Blip situation. Now I do, and it's too late.
Well, you can tell that a website's on its way out when they hadn't updated their front page in almost a year.
Well,
their
yeah,
content.
I think someone had had retweeted something from Blip, and like I had clicked on it to try to figure out a little bit more about it, and it was like they had made a tweet, and their last tweet was like honestly from mid 2014.
Yeah, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, that's
It's also a bad sign when people say they hadn't getting paid. I don't check it anymore because honestly, near the end, I was getting maybe 15, 20 bucks a month from Blip at most. It wasn't that much.
It's a couple burritos though.
That's like three and a half burritos.
3.5.
Good burritos.
You got to look at your money in terms of your burritos, man.